Welcome, everyone, to the round of 8 for the HTL Cup Series playoffs. Welcome to upstate New York. Welcome to the Finger Lakes region. Welcome to Watkins Glen. Tonight, these drivers, 24 of them, will take on this historic racetrack 70 times, 70 laps. The race distance here tonight around this 2.45-mile racetrack. Watkins Glen Week continues here on AVN Esports 1. Welcome, everyone, to the HTL Cup Series. It's the New York 170 here tonight. Practice underway at the moment, and it is, as many would have expected, Bianca Constantinou leading the way to kick off the round of 8. As everything gets going here, Constantinou rolling around on track at the moment as things currently stand. Constantinou in the 61. Trying to punch her ticket into the round of 4, the championship race at Fontana in a few weeks' time. It's Constantinou, then Caitlin Height, then Yair Rodriguez, then DJ Trout, Josh Gaiman, Bobby Blowers, Josh Susi, Pacey Wygent, Eli Sasek, and Brandon Proudfoot in the top 10. But Constantinou leads the way in what could be a very tightly contested race. There are 3 stages tonight, cautions at the end of each stage. Stage 1 ends on lap 10, stage 2 ends on lap 30, with about 10 minutes left to go until practice. Everyone getting their last warm-ups in before tonight's festivities begin. Group qualifying, we've not seen this since Le Mans, the timed road course race. So you get to see group qualifying in effect here tonight. Very different compared to what we see typically in HTL. Typically what we would see is we see drivers go out one at a time. That is not the case here. Everyone will have a certain amount of time on track together to make things happen. So we have to see if these drivers can do just that. Again, 24 cars set to do battle here, and there are going to be some inconsistencies with the numbering system. A lot of drivers in different cars. Bianca Constantinou back in the 61. She's expected to finish the season in that 61, provided she makes the championship round in Fontana. DJ Trout is marked in the 61 because that's the car he drove last week. He's supposed to be in the 64 the rest of the season. DJ Trout's supposed to be in the 64 because John Hagen got suspended over incidents that occurred after last week's race in Chicagoland. Other inconsistencies on this list include Caleb Eichler in the 19. Not supposed to be in the 19. Eichler before the down in pit lane, supposed to be back in the 45. That Busch number 45 machine. The 19 car of Hunter Whitlock is listed as a 20 on your board. So there's going to be a little bit of corrections we have to do here as we watch along here tonight. 5 or 6 numbers that are going to be incorrect as we go throughout the field here tonight. Again, we know that they're wrong. Nothing we can really do to fix them at this point in time. All we can do at this point is move forward and try to make sure we specify who we're talking about here tonight. Again, practice underway. Caitlin Height now running on track there. The number 11. The Cognizant Toyota. Currently sitting second in the leaderboards. Katie Height out of the playoffs, will not be in the championship 4, will not be in that conversation. Missed out, got penalized for what we saw at the end of the race at Chicagoland. Got demoted outside of the top 8. So now Caitlin Height will just be trying to play spoiler here this week. Another driver out of the playoffs. car out of the playoffs as well is the 91 of Yair Rodriguez. Rodriguez was not in the playoffs as a driver, but the 91 car was in. It is no longer in. See him following behind. Looks like that may have changed. Looks like that is Trout running a different paint scheme. That's a very redone number. They did that on the spot in pit lane. And trouble. Ooh, huge hit. That's the 33 of Sienna Thompson. And they're all both going to go back to pit lane there. That was a hard hit. Going through the bus stop now. Constantinu leading the way. Going to start a new lap. Again, it's Constantinu, Height, Rodriguez, and Trout, and then Proudfoot in 5th at the moment. Proudfoot already kicked off this week with a race win. Won last night's Coliseum Clash for the HTL Cup Series. Would love to go back-to-back days with the victory, but that is a tall mountain to climb compared to the drivers around him. Ahead of him is Constantinu, Height, Rodriguez, Trout. Behind him is Gaiman, Blowers, and Susie. And don't count out Pacey Wydron either, sitting in 9th. Pretty stacked top 10 in this board. In 24 cars, first time we've seen the field drop this low, with it being a playoff race on a road course. We were expecting as such. Still a fantastic field on offer for tonight's event. And this isn't the last race we have at Watkins Glen. Tomorrow, 8:15 p.m. right here on ABN1. It's the HTL Truck Series here at Watkins Glen. And then Wednesday, the main event of the week. It's the ABN Champ Car World Series right here in New York. Looking at a full field of Champ Car machines after the phenomenal race we saw last week at Chicagoland. Can't wait to do it all again on Wednesday evening. That's 8 p.m. Wednesday when we go live here on ABN1. Proudfoot got really close there to that inside wall. Seen a lot of really close battles, a lot of really tight fights at this track over the years. I'm sure we'll see more of that here tonight. The question is from who and where. And this will be a dramatically different event throughout the race. Stage 1, no tire saving in the slightest. Just 10 laps, sprint it out and go. Stage 2, conserve a little bit, step it off the gas a little bit, try to get through those 20 laps. And then obviously stage 3, 40 laps of racing. So there's a lot on hand. Everyone's gonna have to go through their phases here to really make sure that they hit it dead on in this race, especially in that final stage where over half the race will be under green flag conditions. See, there's Proudfoot catching up to Lilac Zier. Lilac Zier running a new look, the number 50. Once again running Bang Energy, but this time it is the Cherry Vanilla brand, or Cherry Vanilla flavor of Bang, compared to what was the Cotton Candy flavor we've seen so often on that car and other cars in the Stepping Stone umbrella. So new look there. Blue number making everything pop out there for Zier. As she comes out of the final corner there. Another race this is kind of important for is Shad Swatsworth. Car 18 made it into the round of 8. Trying to go back-to-back in the championship 4 if he can get there. Right now he's sitting 12th on the leaderboard. If he can get through and get with the top 10 and move on to Kentucky that way, he's set up in a really good spot. After this race, Kentucky and Bristol, both races in Spotsworth wheelhouse. So we're going to see what Swatsworth can do here. See if he can minimize the damage that would come typically from having a road course in the middle of this round. Obviously, you see a lot of road course aces near the front of the field. Constantinu, you look at Proudfoot, you look at Sasic, who just moved to 7th fastest. Blauer's obviously in the top 10 as well. Susie sitting in 10th. Swatsworth in 12th. Zier's in 13th. It is a pretty wide open contest. There's Josh Arnold, this 55 cars in there as well. It is everything but shut here tonight. Checker flag in the air for practice. Qualifying coming up next. Constantinu's opened up the fastest. Can she stay that way? Qualifying, we'll find out. Everything gets reset and ready to go here. And Blowers will be one of the first ones out. Here comes car 10. New look for Blowers. Just barely missed out on the round of 8. Following the penalties to Hagen and Caitlin Height. Now trying to sit at the best of the rest table. In the new look number 10 machine, he is the first one out on track. Everyone's got 20 minutes. The clock is already ticking to set their fastest lap. Again, 24 cars in the session right now. It's a very tight group. Lowry's about to begin everything here. He'll be the first driver to start a lap time here tonight. A little over, I think 70 seconds is a lap here in these Cup cars. I think we're looking about 72 seconds thereabouts. Ooh, tag of the wall there, up the hill through the S's. Not a great look there. Constantinu just started her lap as well, the 61 machine. Running there through turns 1 and 2. Flowers. We'll see if this lap actually counts for him here. After that brush with the wall in turn 4 up the hill in the S's. Really wide there through turn 7. Not a hot lap there for Blowers. But it will be the benchmark for everyone to set across the line. Is it a valid lap time? It was not, which is what we were assuming. That was what we feared. Josh Susie's lap is legal. 111.26, 71 seconds on the board. Proudfoot goes 73 seconds, 0.16. Swatsworth right there, right behind Josh Susie. So Susie, Swatsworth, Proudfoot of all set lap times to kick off the playoff drivers. Constantinu had to reset, did not get a good lap time. Gonna try again, trying to get out of the way of some of these cars that are running right now on track. Constantinu cutting through the bus stop. And just mostly trying to stay out of the way of some of the drivers that are on flying laps. Looks like she's in a good pocket of space now. She may try to let the car behind her go. She's trying to wind it up here, the 61. So you see the fastest over Wygant, Swatsworth, Callie Height, Josh Gaiman, Eli Sasic, and Lilac Zier top 7. Henderson, Proudfoot, Rodriguez top 10. Those are the 10 that have set lap time so far in this session. That's Anthony winds up and starts the lap just ahead of Chad Swatsworth. who did not go anywhere, and Swatsworth just went top of the board. So Swatsworth not bothered too awful much by Constantinu, hanging back a little bit. Swatsworth now front of the field on the timing screens over Rodriguez and Susi. Wygant just went fastest, a 110.82, and we got to keep an eye on Brandon Proudfoot, who just went fastest in Sector 1. Proudfoot running faster. Sitting right behind, that is Zach Meredith, I believe. Actually, I could be wrong on that. No, that is Meredith. That's 17 of Meredith. That he just went by there. Meredith back in the Need for Speed themed machine. After representing the Buffalo Bills last week. Proudfoot keeping it nice and tidy. Across the line for Proudfoot, he looked really good in Sector 1. Rodriguez went fastest. Proudfoot did not have the greatest Sector 3 time. Rodriguez has him beat to the punch. Constantinu goes 6th fastest for a moment. Constantinu, once again, outbeaten on pace by Swatsworth. And this is where we begin to point out that there is a bit of a difference between qualifying pace and race pace. Chad Swatsworth right now hanging in there with Constantinu. Constantinu in practice really testing and abusing the track limits to this track. In qualifying, you can't do that. You have to very much mind your P's and Q's here. And that's what Swatsworth has done so far, and he's obviously been doing that pretty well all session long. Rodriguez doing it the best, though. A 110.60 for Rodriguez. Rodriguez in pit lane now. He has got a little over 700ths to Proudfoot, and then Wygant a little over a 10th behind. And again, it is a mass of cars down the front straightaway. Constantinu will go fastest of all by 100th. There's the wind-up speed Constantinu's got pocketed. Now it's on Rodriguez to respond. Proudfoot in 3rd, Wygant in 4th, then it's Sasek, Callie Height, Chad Swatsworth, Josh Gaiman, Josh Susi, and Lilac Zier. Gaiman just went 3rd fastest. The Arrowhead Racing driver now cracking the top 3. Gaiman going down into the bus stop ahead of Elias Flores there. Constantinu, the fastest driver on track, had an even better Sector 2 this time through. Seeing if she can wind it up and get an even faster time on Cork there. With 12 minutes left in hand. Across the line, this could be a rocket ship lap. It is a rocket ship lap, a 110.28 for Constantinu, opens the gap up to 0.3. Constantinu now sitting firmly at front of the field. Gaiman closing in a little bit more on Rodriguez, down to less than half a tenth. Constantinu knows this is her best chance to punch her ticket into the championship 4. Constantinu, Rodriguez, Gaiman, Proudfoot, Wygant, Sasek, Height, Susi, Swatsworth, and Zier top 10. Constantinu improved just a little bit more there. Just opening up the gap just a little bit more. Rodriguez back out on track as well. Although not having the greatest start to a run here. 91 car, I believe that's behind. I have to double check here. Who is that 91 behind going in through the corner here? That is Josh Arnold. He's behind. So Rodriguez sandwiched between a playoff driver and then another really quick road course performer. So Rodriguez and Gaiman both in the same screenshot here, trying to find a way to close the gap to Constantinu. Josh Arnold stepping out of the way of both of them. And Gaiman gets through both. So now Gaiman's got the cleanest air of the bunch to start this new lap. Neither of them setting fast laps here. There is 91 of Rodriguez behind Gaiman. Set of Toyotas going up the hill. Do the S's. Showtime here in Watkins Glen with less than 9 minutes coming up. Ooh, that is really close for both Gaiman and Rodriguez. Gaiman hugging it really tight, trying to find every millimeter worth of time. Rodriguez. Trying to make some work happen here. Gaiman really pulling away here. I don't know if that lap's legal though. We're gonna find out. I don't think it is. I think it's an invalidated lap time. Yeah, it was invalidated. That bus stop did kill that lap. But he's on rails. So we'll keep an eye on him for another lap to see if he can do it again. He's sitting third fast at the moment. He needs to gain 4/10. Oh, and that's not going to be it. That will not be it. Tag the wall up the hill in the S's. Now it's on Rodriguez. See if he can do anything to close that gap up. Gaiman has pulled away from him by a significant margin. So whatever Gaiman's on, pace-wise, it's working. It just isn't enough right now to keep him legal to get through the session. Zero running wide, trying to let go some of the traffic that is on the way through. Looking a little bit further down the order. Looks like we have one more car coming in. That might be Byron Jones coming in. Ooh, trouble there. That's Matthew Boone has smacked the wall on the exit. Again, Gaiman and Rodriguez, not valid lap times that time through. Rodriguez's lap time just wasn't fast enough. Up the hill we go one more time. A lot cleaner this time for Josh Gaiman. Callie Height down in 9th place at the moment in pit lane. The top 8 in front of her all on track, trying to improve their lap times. Height and Trout rounding out the top 10 in pit lane. I think Gaiman scrubbed off a little bit too much grip out of those tires. I think they may be kind of cooked at this point. We'll see. No personal best there for Gaiman at all, or for Rodriguez. I think this is sort of where you sort of just shave it down, pit, take some fresh tires there. Yeah, that's going to cook him up a little bit. Got to make sure he keeps it off the wall, which he does. Luckily, that sand keeps it there. He will tow. Rodriguez stays out another lap here. And it's just not enough. Did close in, though. Personal best there, 110.51. It's still 3/10 shy. He gained a 10. But you've got to find a lot more time if you're trying to match Bia Constantinu. Brandon Proudfoot may be a guy to do that. He just leapfrogged Josh Gaiman in 3rd place. He may be the one to do it. Best Sector 3 of anybody on track. Can he put together a Sector 1 and Sector 2 to match? Very important questions. We know Proudfoot's capable on these road courses. Oof, that's close. That is razor close to being on the margin. I think that's going to kill his lap time, though. That bobble through the bus stop, which is heartbreaking because he had a personal best Sector 1. It wasn't a session best, but it was a personal best Sector 1. That run up the hill through the S's towards the bus stop was so good for Proudfoot. He really rallied up that effort through the 3rd sector to start off the lap strong. He's got to try to find the way to do it again. And this will not be a hot lap. Half a second off is what ended up being Proudfoot's margin there. Really tiptoeing it there on the curving on the exit of turn 1. Less than 5 minutes to go. Again, it's Constantinu's game, and Constantinu's just kind of running and playing keep away at this point. It hasn't been a significant improvement for Constantinu in several minutes. Rodriguez in pit lane will try to give it another go. Just reset the pit lane. Proudfoot tidy and clean through sector 2, through the bus stop there in sector 2. I think he's burnt too much of the tires off, though. I think he had a really magic moment there that is now elapsed. Gaiman back on track as well. With 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. It is the field against Bia Constantinu. Proudfoot steps it out there, holding it a little bit looser that time through. Was this enough? No, it's faster than what last lap was, but still off his personal best. But there's 3 drivers right now, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, that could take it to the pole sitter right now as it sits. 20 drivers at lap time so far. Whitlock, Moutre, Donaldson, and Jones have not, Caitlin Height not allowed to. Serving a penalty. We'll start from pit lane tonight. Everyone else, it is showtime. Gaiman and Proudfoot on the same piece of real estate, battling for the same starting spots. Less than 3 minutes to go. They've got really 2 more really good laps if they want to put it together. Proudfoot basically, this is his run. Gaiman still warming up. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th separated by a little over a 10th. The gap between 1st and 2nd covers 2nd through 8th. Constantinu in pit lane. I think her run is over. So is Rodriguez. His run is over. It's on Proudfoot, Gaiman, Sasek, Susi, Zier, and Wygant to figure out if they've got something deep within it for pole position. Who can master Seneca Lake at a very critical time? Some to play spoiler, some to bolster championship ambitions. Gaiman's not really had it hooked up here. He's got 1 more lap to make something happen. Very tidy outside the carousel towards turn 6. This will be coming to the final lap for most of them, depending on when they get to the line. This should be the final lap for both these drivers. 9 seconds realistically. They've got to cross the line with less than 73. That's close. They both may have 1 more lap after this. For Gaiman, that could be important. But I don't think he's finding speed right now. He's still a little bit off his personal best. He was a 10th off that time. No one's significantly improving at the front of the field You have to wonder if the track temps heated up just a little bit too much to make fast laps viable. As I say that, Cayman just went fast sector 1. On rails. You've got to keep it off the grass. Got to keep it legal. The thing is for Gaiman, he still has a chance if he can get to the start finish line in time. If this lap's not valid, he's still got one more. Proudfoot runs wide there through the carousel. Does Gaiman have enough to go after pole position? 10 seconds on the clock. Hangs it out there through the final corner. 4, 3, 2, 1. Both of them got across the line. Gaiman goes second fastest, but it's not enough. This is the money lap. Can he gain a little bit more? He's got to gain 3/10 still. He's moved to second place, but it's still 3/10 off Constantinu. Proudfoot, I don't think has anything left in it. He did not go for tires when he could have. I think Proudfoot just had to walk. I think his session's over. Indeed it is. And Gaiman's working for it. He is working hard for it. Trying to deny Constantinu pole position and play spoiler. He's got the front row start. Can he do one position higher? Round the final corner, headed for home. Away we go. Is this enough? Across the line, the answer to that question is no. He'll be front row, but he will set second fiddle to Bianca Constantinu. The Romanian driver will be on pole. Wow. So Bianca Constantinu at the front of the field will kick off this race. An outstanding result. It's Constantinu, Gaiman, Rodriguez, Proudfoot, Zier, the top 5, ahead of Eli Sasek, Josh Susi, Pacey Wygant, and Callie Height. So now we're in warm-up. Everyone has one last chance to get themselves ready to go for tonight's race. This is where it gets very interesting. "25 cars in tonight's field. And a very rare change of pace, a very interesting note. For the first time in HTL history, a deep racing car is not in the field. So deep racing missing for the first time in HTL history. We're in season 4. That is crazy that deep racing has had the streak break tonight here at Watkins Glen. There's no Alpha Denny. There's no 90 car. There's no 21. There's no 12. There's no 94. No Chris Pendel. No Angel Santiago. Mark Parkhurst is not in the field in a deep racing car tonight. That's wild that streak comes to an end here tonight. We're going to run on board here for a second. We're running on board with Caitlin Height. She'll be starting from pit lane, serving a penalty that she received from Chicagoland. Running on board with her. And we'll take a look here. We're in warm-up, so times really aren't what matter here. It's about practicing, getting everything ready to go. So we'll walk you through what a lap here on board looks like at Watkins Glen in these Cup Series machines. 5 gears in these Cup machines, and you're going to do a lot of shifting in these cars tonight. Down to second gear through the carousel. Out of the carousel, back up to third gear. Then up to 4th. Caitlin Height could have shifted to 5th, but elected not to. Kept it in 4th there. Down to 3rd. Keep the RPMs manageable. Down to 2nd here for turn 7. And now begin the descent down the hill, down this sloped front straightaway. 4th gear. Does not touch 5th gear. Entering turn 1. She's coming up on Josh Arnold. Josh Arnold will get out of the way. Caitlin Height will go fast to get around Arnold going up the hill. 3rd gear, up to 4th gear, up the hill. And you heard her have to get out of the throttle. She had to breathe out of it. Back of the car will like to get a little bit floaty, will like to snap a little bit. We saw that in qualifying. And Caitlin Height still not using 5th gear at all. They've kind of chopped it down to a 4-gear car. But this car feels way different than the Gen 6 cars. Again, just rolling around right now. Caitlin Height is the fastest on track, but again, she will be starting from pit lane. She will not be taking the grid with everyone else. So her stage 1 is immediately busted, with stage 1 being only 10 laps. Let's see if we can sort of cherry pick our way through the field. Ooh, that's a hard hit between Whitlock and Swatsworth. Wow. Very painful hit there. We'll ride on board with Constantinu. Ignore the number. Number's incorrect, as I mentioned before in the broadcast. Some inconsistencies with the numbering system for tonight's race. A lot of drivers swapping roles once again. Constantinu back in the 61 after missing last week's race. But Constantinu, we'll see what Constantinu does here that's so different than Caitlin Height. Those two really fast in practice. Caitlin Height didn't get to qualify. Constantinu on pole. Fourth gear at the line. Well, using a lot of engine braking, Constantinu is, to get down to turn 1. A lot of engine braking. That's a lot different than what Caitlin Height has been doing. And it does hit 5th gear. Interesting. And that'll end the session. Interestingly enough, Constantinu will start from the front of the field. We got a little bit of insight there. We got enough insight to know how different Constantinu and Caitlin Height's races will be if they do battle. What are those inconsistencies going to look like going into this? Constantinu leading the front of the field. Here is what your starting grid looks like. Constantinu and Gaiman at the front of the field. Constantinu trying to punch her ticket into the round of 4, the championship 4 in Fontana. We're in the round of 8 now. This is her best chance. She's been nearly undefeated on the road courses. If she can win tonight, that's a clean sweep. The question is, can she? If not, it makes Kentucky and Bristol a little more intense for Constantinu. Josh Gaiman alongside on the front row as we get ready to go here. Row 2 is Yair Rodriguez and Brandon Proudfoot. Both of them looking really quick as well. They should have some pretty decent race pace. It's just a matter of how quickly they can hold on to Constantinu in stage 1. Keep an eye on that battle. Lilac Sierra and Eli Sasek in row 3. Row 4 is Josh Susi and Pacey Wygant. Row 5, Callie Height and DJ Trout. Row 6, Chad Swatsworth and Bobby Blowers. Row 7, 13th and 14th, Matthew Boone and Caleb Eichler. Row 8, Zach Meredith, the former former series champion for HTL, alongside Selena Thompson. Row 9, 17th and 18th, Elias Flores and Josh Arnold. Zach Apperson and Blake Henderson make up the top 20. Caitlin Height and Gary Donaldson make up row 11. Remember, Caitlin Height has to start from pit lane tonight. Byron Jones and Ryan Moutre, they do not. They will start in row 12. And the last car in the field, Hunter Whitlock in 25th. Rounds out this 25-car field. Again, Caitlin Height in pit lane. It looks like Callie Height will also be in pit lane here. Kelly already in her pit box. She'll have to wait an entire lap for the cars to go around. Again, this is a very strange situation to be in as we roll down the back straightaway. Constantinu, a favorite here, but would roll in, if she can get a win here, would roll in as the biggest underdog going into Fontana in 3 weeks' time. Her only oval win come at Talladega, and Fontana's going to be a lot different of a racetrack. We've seen the chaos that Talladega can, that Fontana can bring, but her win at Talladega came on the hands of drivers that are suspended now. Drivers that are no longer present. She's not going to have that luxury come Fontana. She's going to be a giant underdog despite having, if she can win tonight, it'd be 4 race wins in the season. It's a crazy situation to be in if you are Constantinu. For Gaiman, though, the chance to play spoiler, a pretty good opportunity here for Gaiman. Likewise for Proudfoot, sitting right now in 4th place on this start. An opportunity for him to punch his way into a championship fight. They're going to roll through the final corner. The pace car will take the right onto pit lane. 25 cars set to do action. We're underway. We're racing in Watkins Glen. And immediately, Constantinu got squeezed down as low as possible by Josh Gaiman, who's going to be hot on the attack. A little bit of trouble. Susie further back. We'll see if we can grab a replay of that. Zach Meredith also involved. Looks like everyone's still rolling. Constantinu survived the early onslaught. And now it's Gaiman on the back foot from Proudfoot and Rodriguez as they head into the bus stop for the first time. And it is side by side, and they're still bouncing off each other. That is Rodriguez and Proudfoot. And around the outside, keep an eye, that's the 50 of Zier. Zier trying to go around the outside. There's the 9 of Sasek. And there's a car spun. It's Josh Gaiman. Gaiman spun the wrong way around. And he's going to get swallowed up by the Horde. A nightmare scenario for Josh Gaiman from 2nd to 19th. And Eli Sasek now sits with the golden position. Zier and Proudfoot will go wheel to wheel, door to door. And Proudfoot trying to defend 3rd place. He will. Keep an eye, there's the 64 of DJ Trout. 2 Bang Energy cars nose to tail. Zier in the 50, Trout in the 64. They're both behind Proudfoot and Sasek. Constantinu has waltzed away. 3.5 seconds already the gap. Lock up there. A little further back, that is Rodriguez trying to make a move on the 24 of Pacey Wygent. It did not work. Thompson now on the attack, the 33, trying to get around the 91. Absolutely frantic stuff. Again, 70 laps, stage 1, ends on lap 10, so it's all about the sprint in this opening stanza. Everything's calmed down a little bit now. We can take a look at what happened on lap 1. This is going into turn 1 on lap 1. Susie in the 81. This is from high above. And he just gets pinched, gets a little bit loose, bounces off of Swatsworth, who keeps the point in the right direction. And Meredith gets turned for his troubles. A lot of accordion, a lot of checking up. Unfortunately, not enough checking up can happen there in that scenario. And then we'll fast forward to near the end of the first lap. Here's what happened to Josh Gaiman on his own. Just completely loses it, runs wide, and tries getting it back to the apex. And just loops it in the most dangerous spot. We've seen so many bad incidents like this happen before. Gaiman gets away with it, but he drops all the way down. He's back to 16th place now. He was down in 19th. Proudfoot looking to the inside of Sasek. Trying to make some inroads happen here in turn one. Proudfoot goes through. Proudfoot's gotten ahead of Sasek here to keep us going. Stanton leads the way. Proudfoot and Sasek. Zier, a little bit of latency there for Zier. They run through the corner. Zier trying to make a move for third. Callie Height, looks like a drive-through penalty is what she is served. Constantine fastest in the field here. Ryan Moutre in pit lane. And away he goes. Moutre down the hill here. Already a lap down, about to go further down. Callie Height, last driver on the lead lap at the moment as things stand, sitting in the 23rd position. A lot of battles further up in this field. There's Zier in fourth. DJ Trout trying to defend from Bobby Blowers to hold on to the top five as things run. Again, stage one ends on lap 10. Rodriguez in pit lane now. And that is a lot of damage for Rodriguez. What has happened to the 91 of Rodriguez? We're going to find out, because he had a giant excursion with the wall. So what happened to Rodriguez? We'll go back and look at it here. And that's a hard hit with Rodriguez. That's up the hill. Rodriguez still in pit lane. Proudfoot's at second place over Sasek, Zier, and DJ Trout top five. Again, it's all about trying to get to the top, to lap 10, to get to the end of the stage. It's an all-out sprint. The flow of this race will be quite different than what we see at the end of this race. Rodriguez still in pit lane. Ryan Moutre a lap down. Looks like almost 2 laps down. Caleb Eichler out of this race after 3 laps. Again, And Trout holding up Blowers and Wygant, allowing Zier to break away a little bit. Blowers looks to the outside of the last corner, and he's got it. And that's why Trout's in. Pit stops. Early pit stops. Everyone trying to beat the rush on pit lane. Everyone thinking about track position, I should say. Constantino leads over Proudfoot, Sasek, Zier, Blowers. So this will change some things. Who comes in for the track position in stage 2 and who takes the point in stage 1 and ends up on the back foot to start stage 2? Interesting question to ask. You would assume Constantino is going to think about the points, the maximum points on offer, in an attempt to try to win this race. Everyone else, kind of a guessing game at this point. Two laps to go in the stage. Constantino leads over Proudfoot, Sasek, Zier, and Blowers. Constantino leads by a whopping 8.4 seconds over Proudfoot, who is stuck behind Ryan Moutre for a moment. Will lose some time to Eli Sasek. Sasek in third, Zier in fourth. Blowers trying to close in here. Trying to make some things happen tonight. And for Blowers, it's bittersweet. Not able to fight for a championship any longer. But still doing a phenomenal job. Blowers up to fifth, again trying to chase down Zier. We're on the final lap of stage number 1. Sasek still under threat from Zier with a lap to go. Zier looking to try to get third place in the stage. Couple of playoff drivers fighting for it here. Playoff drivers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Does Zier have enough to send it in through turn 6? The answer to that question, no. Caution comes out. Constantino wins over Proudfoot, Sasek, Zier, Blowers, Wygant, Thompson, Swatsworth, Gaiman, and Jones, the top 10. And for Constantino, that was an easy breezy piece of work. Believe Rodriguez's race officially over after 5 laps. So 2 retirements in stage 1. So Constantino having to waltz all the way back around to get to the pace car. Field is frozen at the moment, so this is going to be a prolonged caution period. Ryan Moutre, thankfully, will get his lap back. or one of them back. I think he's 2 laps down at the moment, so he's only going to be 1 lap down now. It is Constantinu at the front of the field, catching up to the pace car. Under caution for the first time, and it's a stage break. We'll see most of the field coming down pit lane for pit stops tonight. Constantino Proudfoot will lead the way to pit lane here. Pit stops underway here. So let's look at the race off pit lane. Drivers that did not come down pit lane: Kalen Height, DJ Trout. Is a very small list, and a lot of drivers taking fuel only. Constantino taking 4 tires will drop down the order. Constantino comes out of pit lane in 9th. That's big. That is a rather huge situation there. Constantino down in 9th place behind Swatrith, Gaiman, and everybody else in front. Kalen Height inversely at the front of the field now. This is going to be very interesting on this restart. Again, still waiting to see the lights go up on the pace car to let us know that we're 1 to green. 2 drivers stayed out, Kalen Height and DJ Trout. Trout came down pit lane on lap 7, so he has visited pit lane at least once already. Kalen Height has not been on pit lane yet. So this is going to be a very interesting restart. Kalen Height and DJ Trout at the front of the field. This is going to be a very interesting to restart again. And then it's Proudfoot and Zier, Sasek and Blowers, Game and Swatsworth, Konstantinu, Wajda. Pace car pulls in. Getting ready for this restart. 22 cars on the lead lap. Green flag is in the air, and away we go. And Proudfoot was right on the bumper of Kalen Height. And the turn one we go. Where is the madhouse at? Everyone got through turns 1 and 2 relatively okay. It's a matter of if they can stay that way up the hill. Kalen Height with the advantage. Proudfoot ahead of Trout. Blowers to 4th. Zier in 5th. Sasek 6th. Game and Konstantinu 7th and 8th. Ahead of Height and Swatsworth. Both Heights in the top 10. Whoa! Keep an eye on Blowers. He just went for a ride. Still on for a ride. Still holding onto the inside lane, trying to hold on ahead of Konstantinu, trying to stay side by side with Josh Gaiman. Really good look there out of the carousel. Still side by side. Gaiman goes for a spin. Konstantinu went wide. Flores goes for a slide. Flores in trouble. That's Susie and Meredith involved. More and more trouble. Flores gets the point in the right direction, but trouble. Josh Susie in the wall and in pit lane. Clobbered both Flores and Meredith. Wow. Wild stuff there. There goes Kalen Height ahead of Proudfoot. Proudfoot trying to reel in season-long adversary. It's the Cognizant, number 11, leading the way out of the playoffs. Regular season champion, 2 seasons running, not battling for the Cup Series championship. Proudfoot leads the way now at a Trout, Zier, and Sasek in the top 5. Again, keep in mind, Kalen Height is not pit at all in this race. Everyone else has made at least one singular stop. Trouble further back. And it is big time trouble. That's a 13 of Byron Jones. I believe Josh Gaiman got a piece of it. If not Gaiman, then Hunter Whitlock definitely did. Trouble now. This is where the pandemonium flies. Let's look at this one. What happens to Byron Jones? Tried to force the 3-wide situation. Gaiman gets loose once again because Byron Jones tried to force the 3 wide. And there's the damage to Hunter Whitlock's machine. And once again, Josh Gaiman gets run over with. And there's Whitlock still just trying to hold on to that car in the best way possible, just trying to get back to pit lane. Cutting the bus stop here, but he's going slow enough that the slowdown penalty will kind of give itself away here, as he runs on the very far outside lane in the carousel. So trouble all the way throughout this field. This is trouble in the worst of ways. The 11 height still leads. Proudfoot, Trout, Zier, Sasek, Blowers, Height, Constantinu. And the issue with Bianca Constantinu, we talked about her taking tires. She has dropped back behind those that were able to get those tires up the temperature quicker. And these next-gen cars, the way they are currently built, is not about tire wear, it's about tire temperature. That is why it's so important. You're going to see some drivers today go the entire race without changing tires. It's all about managing the temperatures, not the wear. So Bianca struggling here big time, having to get heat back in these tires to get things started. And for Constantinu, that is a challenge, because it's going to be harder for Constantinu to now move through the field, and especially with all this time being lost. And Constantinu came in just taking fuel only like everyone else did in the front of the field. This is not so much of a difficult situation. The issue is just that no one can now gain if you have taken tires, because everyone else had that immediate advantage. Constantine is arguably faster than Callie Height. I don't think that's an arguable statistic. But look how long we've been watching this battle, and Callie has just been frustrating the 61. Still frustrating the 61. And they're going to get a little bit elbows out here. And again, in normal situations, like in Champ Car, we'll see on Wednesday night, fresh tires, yeah, it's everything. It's not that way tonight. It took almost 4 laps for Constantine to get around Callie Height. And around goes Wygent. Wygent just kind of forces his way through there. But Constantinu now, a giant gap is formed, and Constantinu's going to now try to reel the gap into Blowers with 11 to go in the stage. The issue now for Constantinu is that she cannot take tires in stage 2, or at the end of stage 2. Because Constantinu's lost a lot here. Has lost a lot. Caitlin Knight still leads the way over Proudfoot, Trout, Zier, Sasek, and Blowers, the top 6. Constantinu in 7th. Then it's Wygent, Callie Height, and Selena Thompson in top 10 as things currently run. So we get everything ready to go here. A little bit close to this battle between Constantinu and Blowers. And again, this is the fight for 6th place on your screen. And Blauer's trying to defend just like Callie Height did. Callie a little bit more aggressive on that defense than Blauer's was. And Bianca latest of the late breaker, so Constantinu back up to 6th. The surge continues here, but this is sort of, I think, where Constantinu's surge stops. Again, Caitlin Height leads the way over Brandon Proudfoot and DJ Trout. Again, we're looking at Constantinu, Blauers, Wygen, and Callie Height. Constantinu's got to shave out a lot of time over the next 8 laps. 3 seconds worth of time is the margin. It is a race against the clock. Car in pit lane, that's Caitlin Height in pit lane for service. So Brandon Proudfoot now inherits the race lead over DJ Trout and Lilac Sear. You want to talk about a tight fight? There it is. Proudfoot leads the way. Coming to 7 laps to go. They can keep an eye on this battle for second place between Trout and Zier. No longer teammates. Trout now racing for Premier Racing Club. Zier racing for Stepping Stone Motorsports. Here comes Zier for that second spot. She's got it. Keep an eye on that car looking in the distance. That is Constantinu in 5th. Can she get through 3 cars in basically 6 laps? Proudfoot's got her beat. The matter of if Zier, Trout, or Sasek also have her beat. Constantinu, with that strategy call, no longer, I think, a guaranteed favorite in this. It seemed like a slam dunk at stage 1 because it was a sprint. Now we've into the more endurance-based portion of this event, and the foundation's a little bit shakier. Whoa, trouble there for Trout. He just tagged the wall. Hopefully it was flush, but drifted a little bit too wide there up the S's and up the hill. That's all 4 cars in a line. Coming to 5 to go in the stage. Stage ends on lap 30. And just like it was on stage 1, it's when the leader crosses the line here, not when 10th place crosses the line here. So Trout trying to hold on to the 3rd position. You see a little bit of damage there where he scraped the paint off the Armco. Definitely a little bit shaken up on that. 3 cars in this line. Constantinu the furthest back in this line behind Sasek, who's in the middle. Zier's pulled away. Five to go in the stage is where we're at. And Trout's struggling up the hill. Here comes Constantinu. Racing in this run. Whoa, side by side. Wow. Constantinu and Sasek went side by side. Constantinu was not taking no for an answer. Wow. That was aggressive. Constantinu knew. She had to get around Sasek and had to get around quickly. And now it's TJ Trout on the line. Trout. Now, can't really defend a whole lot from Constantinu here. He's going to try, though. Ooh, very tight. Tight and narrow there. A little bit latency on our end on that one. Constantinu still stuck behind Trout and allows Sasek another chance. Again, Constantinu trying to find a way around DJ Trout. Like Zier, happy with this battle. I think Trout's coming down pit lane. Trout is coming down pit lane. 100% coming down pit lane. That I kind of like that call. I kind of like that call. It's going to leave Zier alone in second place on an island with 3 laps to go. And that is a 3.3 second island. Again, you just cannot give the advantage back. You took 4 tires there. You cannot give the advantage back and make the same mistake in stage 2 if you're Constantinu. This is your best chance to lock yourself into a championship fight. And for Zier, unless Proudfoot comes down pit lane in the next lap, there's not really much of a chance Constantinu can win this stage. And Proudfoot is in pit lane. So Zier now leads the way with 2 to go in the stage. A lot of drivers have the same strategy, pit before the stage. That's going to be a nightmare for Constantinu to work through again because Constantinu's already almost been caught up in incidents tonight. 2.2 the gap. Zier looking for a stage win. How impressive would that be for Zier? You got to hear the Jaws theme at this point. You have to. It has got to be loud as the race leader, knowing that Constantinu's behind. Zier sticking it out, though. Coming to the white flag in stage number 2. 1 lap to go, 2.5 miles. Over a second in play. If Zier mines her marks and hits them here, it's a stage win and a small cushion in this race. 1.5 the gap. This should be in Zier's hands. You just got to hit your marks here in the bus stop in the carousel. You've got to. Zier's been around this track plenty enough to know what she's got to do. Constancio a lot stronger in that bus stop, though. That's where Constancio gains all of her time. But she only could do it one more time there. Lilac Zier around the corner. She'll stay away from Constantius. She'll survive the onslaught. Lilac Zier comes across our finish line as the winner of stage 2. Constantius second, Eli Sasek third over Blowers, Wygant, Gaiman, Boone, Thompson, Swatsworth, and Blake Henderson. Lilac Zier, stage winner in stage number 2. Started in the 5th position, but has not been any lower than 4th this entire run. And you look at that fast lap. She saved her fastest lap for her last lap in that stage. Outstanding work by Lilac Zier. Great work so far. They will catch up to the pace car here. Pit lane is closed. And that leaves just stage 3, a very long stage to go. Everyone coming out and catching up to the pace car here. Stage winners, front of the field. What a debut for the Dark Horse. For those that didn't tune in last night for the HTL Cup Series, the Coliseum Clash, a facelift occurred for the Toyota Camry and the Ford Mustang. New generations of the Ford Mustang, the Dark Horse edition, and the new Toyota Camry ZSE out on display. The only car that did not get a facelift was the Chevrolet Camaro, the Z01. And the facelifted cars currently sitting 1, 2, 3, and 4. Toyota's 3rd and 4th. Ford's 1st and 2nd. Everyone comes down pit lane this time. This will be a very interesting pit stop. Some drivers will stay out. And we have a couple of lap cars here in this melee. Ryan Moutre will get his lap back. At least get one of them back, I believe. From high above. Zier in the box first. Who takes tires and who doesn't? Interesting number. No tires again for Zier. She'll stay ahead of Constantinu. Just about everyone else took tires on that stop, though. Gaiman did not take tires. Proudfoot, Trout, and Cali Heights stayed out because they pit before the end of the stage. This is going to be very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. So let's break down stage 3, because there's a guaranteed pit stop in this stage for everybody. Longest anyone went for fuel was 22 laps. And that was with the assistance of a stage break, like where most of these drivers are at right now. 22 laps. When we go back to racing, there will be about 35 laps of racing. So there's a pit stop in this race that everyone gets to try to make things right or potentially throw things away. We've seen that happen here at Watkins Glen. These cars do not have pit limiters. They do not have speed limiters for pit lane, unlike what we'll see on Wednesday night in the Champ Car World Series. You have to hold a very slow and arduous 40 miles an hour down the entirety of that pit lane. And we've seen so many drivers being penalized over the years. We've seen races decided by that. So this will be very interesting. Everyone's in the same position relatively. It's a matter of positioning on track that matters. B is going to be 5th in line, the current favorite for this race. 3rd on the inside lane. It'll be Proudfoot, Trout, Callie Height, Zier, Constantinu, Gaiman, Swatsworth, Sasick, Blowers, and Wygant, your top 10. Caitlin Height in 11th, ahead of Selena Thompson. Then Matthew Boone and Blake Henderson. Lights out on the top of that old Ford Mustang pace car, which means we are going green at the end of this lap to kick off stage 3. Chevrolet and Ford at the front of the field. Highest running Toyota, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. This is going to be a slugfest between the manufacturers, between the teams, and the drivers in this 3rd stage. It's all come down to this. How aggressive will Constantinu be? How defensive will Callie Height, Lilac Zier, Brand Proudfoot, and DJ Trout be? What happens further in this field? We're going to find out. Coming to 36 laps to go. It's been a chaotic start every start of this race, whether it's the start or the restart. Do we see that again tonight? That is the magical question. With Brandon Proudfoot leading the way, we're going to find out. Pace car is in. Green flag is out, and away we go. Everyone got through turn 1 cleanly. Now it's the run up the hill. A lot of wiggling. Proudfoot still loose. Everyone checks up. Trout now leads over Callie Height and Lilacs here as they head to the bus stop. Another chance for chaos. Car went wide. Josh Gaiman cut the bus stop. So his race going bad again. And Constantinu again could not gain on those in front. Tried to, but couldn't. Trout leads over Height, over Zier, over Proudfoot, over Constantinu. Shad Swats for the Caitlin Height for Arrowhead Racing, sitting 6th and 7th. It's the run down the hill. Proudfoot and Constantinu, these two will duke it out because they're both battling for the same thing. They both want what nobody's got right now. Blowers turns around in turn 1. Trouble for Blowers. There's Josh Gaiman making his way around. What happened here for Bobby Blowers? This is going into turn 1, and Josh Gaiman just completely misses it here. Just completely missed it there. Blowers down in 18th place now, Gaiman in 19th. And well out of it. Up at the front of the field, still top 5, Trout, Height, Zier, Proudfoot, Constantinu. And now Proudfoot gets to deal with Constantinu directly. This is the fight we've been not able to see all race long. Proudfoot with the run on Zier. Here they go, side by side to the bus stop. This could be tight. This will be tight. And it's not over. Proudfoot to 3rd, Zier to 4th. And Constantinu tried to flip that car into a window that was not open, but now it is. Zier rattled a little bit and will lose a spot. Swatsworth where he needs to be. This part of the calendar favors him right now, and he's sitting 6th on a track that does not favor him very well. Katie Height sitting in 7th. Would love to get around Swatsworth to begin battling with the likes of Constantinu and Proudfoot. But right now still playing the team game. Gaiman in pit lane. Same with Apperson, Moutre, and Donaldson. Whitlock's race is over. Josh Susie rolling around, hoping for a little bit of a miracle. Swatsworth, to his credit, just set his fast lap of the race. Teammates are side by side. I'm assuming Height's going to get the advantage here, and Swatsworth let her go by. Probably the correct choice if the team wants to try to win a race here. Swatsworth again sitting in a really good spot points-wise, with Proudfoot, Constantinu, and Zier, the only chase drivers, the only playoff drivers ahead of Swatsworth right now. It's not been a great run for Josh Arnold. It's not been a great run for Eli Sasuke right now, sits in 9th place. And it's been the worst race of all for Josh Susie, who now sits in 21st out of this race. Effectively out of this race. Still running, but multiple laps down. Callie Height dropped out of the top 3 and sank like a stone. Now under threat from Shad Swatsworth. And Pacey Wydge going to try to do the exact same thing here. So Callie Height dropping backwards pretty substantially. Going up the hill now through the S's. And then there's Sasek right there in the 9 car, sitting in the 9th position. Look at what happened here going into this. Saw a lot of smoke going into turn 6, and that's why Callie Height with a giant drift is what put her backwards. So That's what happened there in turn 6 just a lap ago. And Cali Height has been reeling ever since. Constantinu. Still in the 3rd position behind DJ Trout and Brandon Proudfoot. Lap traffic in the way. I believe that is Susie. It is Susie ahead of Trout. Trout struggling to find a way around Susie. This gives a really good chance for Proudfoot, who's teammates with that 81, to try to go for the race lead. Proudfoot gets around Trout. And Constantinu's hanging out to dry. Constantinu, nose draft, no slipstream. Gonna try to be the very latest of the late breakers here. And we'll take 2nd place away. And Susie stays out of the way for the leaders there. Let one go, let them both go. Apperson still in pit lane, as is Ryan Moutre and Gary Donaldson. Apperson coming back out of pit lane here. Susie now up to 20th, and whoa! Susie goes for almost a spin there. That would have been wild. And remember, there is still a pit stop in this race. There's still a lot of racing to go in this race, coming to 30 laps to go. Ooh, Proudfoot got really tight there up the hill. Do not want to give Bia the advantage. And Proudfoot knows that. Proudfoot is well aware of what Bianca Constantinu can do. Yeah, Proudfoot leads the way. There's battles throughout the field. We just don't want to make a move because the lead can change so suddenly. But there's a battle here for 8th place. Sassek's gotten around Cali Height in this battle. And for Sassek, it's very important. He's trying to keep toe with Shad Swatsworth, is what he's trying to do here. Because right now, just being top 10 right now is not enough. And Cali Height's giving him fits. Big time fits. Up the hill, Cali Height's going to have the advantage. And Sassek's got to sort of just sit behind and let it happen. He's going to try to make a run here, but nothing doing there. So Height now in the 8th position once again. And they'll both get around Susie, who is trying to stay out of the way. Likewise, a little bit further back, there's Josh Arnold. There's Zach Meredith and Elias Flores. This is for 12th, 13th, and 14th place on track. And here's the battle for the race lead, nose to tail. Again, pit stop still set to come here in this race. They pit on lap 28 for Proudfoot. Constantinu pit on lap 32. So in the next 10 laps, everyone will be in pit lane here. Your objective is to get beyond lap 50. If you can get to like lap 52, then you're golden. But Proudfoot will be the first one in. He's just trying to hold on to the race lead enough to that pit stop. And that is the struggle, trying to hold on to that pit stop. Trying to stay away from Constantinu. Chevrolet versus Ford at the front of the field. Toyota in third with Caitlin Height. And that, I think, should alarm some people. Caitlin Height now sitting in third. Could really play spoiler in this race. She has been the fastest car the last 4 laps running. She is now clear and has a lot of clean real estate. That is, I think, an alarm bell ringing for the race leaders. There's Zach Apperson, next lap traffic. Alarm bell should be going off here. Proudfoot and Constantinu. Caitlin Height is present. See the damage on Apperson's car as he rolled down the bottom of the screen. Not what you wanted to see there for Apperson, not the race he's wanted to have. He's sitting in the 18th position, just trying to get through this and head to Kentucky next week. Constantinu's right there. Whoa! Constantinu lets it hang out. Wow! Apperson gets out of the way of the leaders. But Constantinu hung it out and almost got hooked. That was almost a nightmare. Gap between Proudfoot and Caitlin Height, 3.2. Keep an eye on that gap as this race progresses. There's not going to be a caution that closes that gap. It's got to be in through race pace. What Caitlin's hoping is that these two begin holding each other up. Sort of like what Proudfoot's been doing to Bianca already. She's hoping that continues. She's hoping that Proudfoot, that he can really sort of reel that gap in and sort of act like a rubber band is what she's hoping that Proudfoot does here. But being behind Apperson up the S's did not help Caitlin Height at all. So it's Proudfoot leading over Constantinu, over Caitlin Height. And the battle begins again. Lilac Zero just set her personal best. They won 11.05. That's faster than Brandon Proudfoot's fastest lap time. So third and fourth are running faster right now. Here comes Bianca. Bianca peeked to the inside. Proudfoot keeps it covered off. And that checkup's going to be huge. That checkup's going to be huge for Caitlin Height and Lilac Zier. Oh, that did favors for them. That is half a second right there. Mirror driving at its highest degree. Oh, this is fantastic stuff right now. There's pit stops coming. Proudfoot will be the first one in. Not this lap. He's going to try to make it to lap 50. If he can make it to 51, then he's good. 52 is golden. Callie Height in the 8th position, still ahead of Eli Sasek, but still in that battle, 2 seconds shy of Swansworth. Proudfoot goes around. Wow! That's big. That's huge. That is huge. That is absolutely massive right now, what just happened there. Proudfoot now out of the race lead. Constantinu in it. Caleb Height in this mix as well. So is Lilac Zier. Zier's the fastest of the entire bunch. Again, pit stops incoming, and things can change dramatically. This is going to be a dilemma if you are Brandon Proudfoot now. Caleb Height's faster. Do you let Katie go through and try to steal a win away from Bianca Constantinu now? That is the next question. The answer to that probably is no. But now there's a thought process here. Remember, Bianca's strength is in the bus stop. Proudfoot looks like he might be coming in this time. I don't think he can make it enough. Yep. In he comes. No, he stays out this time. I think he was trying to come in because he slowed up big time for the Apex of 7. Coming to 20 laps to go. This is going to be something else. Proudfoot should be coming in here shortly. It's a matter of what lap he decides to come in on. Trout already came in. They were on the same strategy. And here comes Proudfoot. Katie Height's got 3.5 seconds. The shave off of Constantinu if she wants a chance to win this race and play spoiler. That's her motivation going into the last 4 races. Go win and play spoiler. Question is, can she? Bianca putting in some hot laps. Wygen in pit lane now. Gap has opened up. 4.1 the gap. Bianca's beginning to set those lightning times. Now she has that clean air. Sasic, Wygen, and Blowers all in. Believe we're in that magical window where a pit stop here is good to the finish. Coming to about 18 to go is where we're at this time. And Bianca's in. Katie and Lilac, they both stay out. So this is Katie's first lap led the night. Constantinu, Swatsworth, and Thompson all in this time. Caitlin Height and Lilac Sear, they are almost inseparable at this point. Matching each other tooth and nail. We know there's a pit stop coming for them shortly. The question is when. Ahead of Height, you've got Blowers and Susie. Do we see pit stops here for both the leaders? Yes, we do. Got it right down there to the 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. Constantinu stays ahead of Proudfoot. There's Proudfoot right there. Again, we're expecting is just a fuel-only stop for Zier and Height. Katie Height leaving pit lane, but it's a very long run down pit lane for Katie Height. Bianca's going to have this pretty well in hand. Constantinu, 17 laps away from punching a ticket for a championship flight in Fontana. .2.8 the second gap between Constantinu and Proudfoot. A little bit further back as they battle for the top 5 between Chad Swatsworth and Callie Height. Eli Sasek off in the distance in 7th. This is the closest battle on track at the moment between Swatsworth and Height. With 16 laps to go. Again, this is a really good chance for Swatsworth. Swatsworth comes in right now. You look at the top 4, it's Constantinu, Proudfoot, Caitlin Height, and Lilac Zier. So Swatsworth right now 4th of the playoff drivers that are running. But in a phenomenal position. Swatsworth's done a great job. Really just kind of sticking himself where he needs to be. In the top 5. Limiting any damage that could come from this race. Staying ahead of Sasek. Staying ahead of Josh Arnold, who's in 15th, and Josh Susie, who's in 18th place. Keeping his head above water right now. He's done an outstanding job of that. Coming to 15 laps to go, it's Bianca Constantinu's race. It's Bianca's to lose. .15 cars on the lead lap. Excuse me, 16 on the lead lap. From Constantinu to Zach Meredith. It feels like time beginning to run out on those that wanted to have a challenge for Constantinu, the Romanian driver, looking for her 4th win and looking to sweep the road courses in Season 4. Callie's battling to try to get into the top 5. Working against Chad Swatsworth. Again, this is the closest battle on track at the moment. We'll also see a battle here a little bit further back. This is between Thompson and Wygen. Wygen looks to the inside of Thompson. Thompson keeps the door open, doesn't shut the door, but also prevents Wygen from being able to sort of make a dive. So Sienna holds on. That is for 9th and 10th place, where we're at right now. About 14 laps to go. We've not done this all race long. Let's crank it up and right on board with Pacey Wygen here. See what he's got against the 33 of Sienna Thompson. See if he can get that extra position. Riding on board with DJ Trout. Battles all over the place right now as it sits. Battle for 7th and a battle for 2nd place. On track at the moment. Trout trying to find her way around Eli Sasek as Caitlin Height tries to find her way around Brandon Proudfoot. Both equally close battles here. This is how close the battle is at the front for 2nd place. Proudfoot and Caitlin Height have both had run-ins already before. Think about Road America. Road America, a really good example of that. Both of them trying to battle this out. Getting around, I believe that is Josh Arnold going a lap down to the 2nd and 3rd place cars here. And so will Blake Henderson. DJ Trout in pit lane did not have enough fuel. That's rough. That is, I think, the magical question. Does Brandon Proudfoot have enough? He had to pit 4 laps earlier than everybody else. Does Proudfoot have enough fuel to get all the way through? Coming to 6 laps to go. Cars, 12 cars on the lead lap. And Stantanu continues to lead the way. Brandon Proudfoot trying to stay ahead. Thompson and Wygen back at it as well. We're on board a little bit with Caitlin Height through the visor cam. Got a perspective of what she sees when she's battling here. We're going to see that more and more as this progresses. Caitlin Height still trying to close in. Proudfoot on the edge. Five laps to go. Both Height and Proudfoot just tied the wall on the top of the hill. That's how much they're giving right now. Trying to make some inroads. Proudfoot trying to defend. Height trying to take over that spot. Proudfoot's not in a bad spot. Right now sitting second. With Kentucky, a track he almost won at last season. And then Bristol to round out the round of 8. It's just that every point counts right now for Proudfoot. And for Caitlin Height, it's the illusion of being able to play spoiler to somebody after being harshly eliminated in the first round. Callie had said some sort of issue. We'll really look at it here because they got 4 laps to go. What happened to Callie Height? This looks like a standalone issue for Callie Height. Turn 6, a problem area for height before. And just runs a little bit wide. Ooh, that is not the kindest of taps there for Callie Height, who's down in 7th place. But in 2nd place, Kaylin Heights dropped off dramatically here. A little bit further back, again, this battle for the 8th position between Wyden and Thompson. As they continue to go at it. They separate for a little bit, but now they're back at it, battling for 8th and 9th. Selena just set her fastest lap, the last lap. And they're slipping and sliding all around to the exit of 7. 3 to go for them. Constantine coming to 2 laps to go. Here comes Selena Thompson to the inside. A little bit of contact with Wygent, a little bit more contact. And Selena's going to let Wygent hold on to it. Sportsmanship there between the two. But now Byron Jones is in the mix. So now it's 2-on-1 between Coast to Coast and CBR. This is them coming to 2 to go in this battle for 8th, 9th, and now 10th in this mix. They're coming to 2 to go. This battle continues to rage on. Constantinu will come around turn 7 for the penultimate time. And she comes to the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics. For about 30 minutes, there's an illusion that this would be a contest. But Constantinu, with less than 2 miles left to go, will cruise to a 4th career win in the HTL Cup Series. To the bus stop, towards the carousel. Almost perfect on the road courses. Wrecked out at Daytona on the road course there. Won every road course after that. Road America, Le Mans, and now Watkins Glen, with 2 corners to go. Behind Constantinu, Romanian driver. Out of the last corner, she'll punch her ticket in to the championship for heroics and celebrations across our finish line. She wins at Watkins Glen. Brandon Proudfoot hold on to 2nd place ahead of Caitlin Height. Lilac Zero finish in 4th place ahead of Shad Swatsworth, who will round out the top 5. A fantastic result for Shad to get through this race and into his bread and butter of the calendar. Swatsworth 5th ahead of Sasek, who will end up this race in 6th place. Callie Hyatt with damage to her car will still come home with the top 10. Will come home 7th tonight. And likewise, this fight whittled out a lot Wygant, Thompson, and Jones. Rounding out the top 10, Bobby Blowers will be ahead of DJ Trout. And those will be the last two on the lead lap here at Watkins Glen. It's a celebration for Bianca Constantinou. Bianca wins at Watkins Glen. I think overall a fantastic result for Constantinou here tonight. She is parked now on the exit of the track there and the exit of turn 1. Again, it's Constantinou that leads the way here tonight over Proudfoot and Caitlin Height. While Bianca gets out of her car and gets ready for her interview, we'll talk to third place Caitlin Height tonight. Katie, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got ya.
All right, that was about as wild of a race as we were expecting it to be, coming from a pit lane start. 12 laps led from 21st, ending up third place here. Walk us through your race and obviously trying to mitigate the damage already on the start.
I really don't know. It was just sort of, from my point of view, it was a rather boring race. I just sort of tried to get track position on some off-sequence strategy calls and just sort of try to get to the front. Really, the only exciting part was the restart into the final stage when I was like restarting 11th and carving my way up to 3rd. Just sort of, I never really, it's pretty much just spent the only time practicing in the warm-up instead of like having 40 hours a week to practice instead of working. So, I mean, yeah, so that's pretty much it. I just used strategy and racecraft to get through the field.
Obviously, we get through Watkins Glen tonight. We go into Kentucky, a race you won last season, and a phenomenal race there. Obviously, there's a track that this car hasn't changed too awful much on. What are you looking forward to as far as going in next week to try to go in and place well over some of these playoff drivers?
I'm just going into these races just to, just to win. Like I said, I don't have all the time in the world to practice like other people, but at least on ovals, it sort of equalizes everybody, if you will.
It was a phenomenal drive tonight, again, from pit lane on the start all the way to third place. Led 12 laps tonight, a phenomenal run there, especially in the middle stanza of this race. With Kentucky and Bristol up next, going to be an interesting next couple weeks here. Before we let you go and let you obviously get ready for the races coming up ahead, does anyone want to shout out and say thank you to? The floor is yours. Congrats on the podium tonight. Well earned.
All right, thanks. I want to thank you for putting on the broadcast, and Chrissy when she, is able to come in and actually commentate. Always nice to have her around, but I hope she's having fun. HTL admins for doing all the work behind the scenes and everything that they have to do and put up with. And all the viewers in chat really helping out ABN and keeping things growing, both in the community and both, everything else. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Caitlin Height, third place tonight here at Watkins Glen, 18 positions gained, the biggest mover in tonight's race with Kentucky in 7 days' time. Katie, enjoy it, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye on that 11 car at Kentucky under the lights next week.
All right, thanks, Carmen.
That was Caitlin Height, third place finisher here tonight. We'll move on to Brandon Proudfoot, second place finisher for him. Brandon, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Alrighty. What a drive. 16 laps led. Consistently near the front of the field. Started fourth. Didn't spend a lot of time outside the top 10 tonight, outside of the pit stop sequences. Walk us through this race, and obviously what was missing tonight to kind of keep you in range there with Bianca. If you stay in front of Bianca, you're fine, but what was it that Bianca had that you were just kind of missing tonight?
Talent. They are insane here. I remember them. I believe it was either here or Arcs. Actually, I raced against them here as well, and it was the same deal. They are extremely, extremely fast here. I think this is one of their best tracks, and I did everything I could to try and hold them off whenever I was up ahead. Had the strategy, but at the end of the day, pressure, and eventually something will break. Doesn't matter how good you are. If you are pressured, you will break.
Obviously, a lot of a bend but don't break approach here. Obviously, eventually the floodgates did open up and Bianca did end up grabbing that race win. But you're still in a really good spot. You look at how this race ended up for you. Second place tonight, a phenomenal effort on its own. Then there comes a race that it probably should be circled on the calendars. If not, Kentucky next week. It's a big race for HTL and ABN. It's a race you almost won last season. It was a photo finish there, a phenomenal race between you and Katie. Got a little piece of that racing tonight as well. Is Kentucky a race that you have circled as a potential place to just punch in your ticket and not have to worry about Bristol after that?
Without a doubt. Obviously, past history, like you said. I've done statistically well there for what times I have showed up there. Bristol, while it is not exactly the most optimum track to win, it's on the short track, which, as you know, that's more pertains to me. Managed to win the shootout here last night in the Arcs A squared pre-race per se. So that pertains to me a little bit more, I think. But overall, I think the next few races up definitely are in my wheelhouse. And can't win a race. Consistency is king.
Absolutely. It's a lot of big races coming up here in the final 3 rounds of the HTL Cup Series. Obviously, for you, you get to sort of be one of those that run double duty on Sundays and Mondays. But before we let you go and let you get ready for all of that coming up ahead over the next couple of weeks, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats again on a phenomenal effort. Second place here at Watkins Glen.
Thanks. Everybody over at Lady Liberty, all the sponsors on the car, Sewer Bros. I can't think of all the other ones. I'm exhausted. You guys here at ABN for having the broadcast, everybody in the chat, keeping those numbers up, friends, family, and everybody else that does anything in the background for the teams or anything. On to Kentucky and for another round of 8 race. Have a good night, everybody.
Absolutely fantastic night tonight. Brandon Proudfoot, second place tonight here in the Glen. That is Proudfoot, and then we have one more person to talk to. We have the race winner, Bianca Constantino, to talk to tonight. Winner at Watkins Glen, 4th win of the season for Bianca Constantino. Bianca, this is Carmen from the ABN booth. Got a copy?
Hello.
What a drive. It was convincing throughout. Fast lap of the race, 32 laps led out of 70. Obviously, most laps led there, but it's all about the race win and the punching your ticket into the championship for. How are you feeling? That is a very long race to have to endure.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really know what anyone else was going to run pace-wise this whole week, so I was kind of just hoping, okay, damage limitation, let's just get a podium or something, get good points. To have this sort of pace was nice. We made a pretty bad strategy call for the first stage to take tires. Where I figured, okay, they updated the car, maybe new tires are going to help. They didn't, but ended up having to fight our way through, and it was amazing, going toe-to-toe with Brandon Proudfoot. But yeah, I don't really know what to say. I was trying to drive away from the field, but stages obviously were a bit of a problem. Yeah.
Obviously, for you, this is a really huge ordeal. Obviously, you move into the championship now. You don't have to worry about Bristol. You don't have to worry about Kentucky. Now you get to focus on Fontana, on Auto Club Speedway. How important is this for you? Now you get to focus on learning that track and learning how that track races, because that is going to be a big indicator. You won at Talladega, you won at a plate race. Now you get to race at a track that's not a plate race, but it's also not it's not quite an intermediate. It handles very differently. How important is it for you to have that extra time now to prepare for that race coming up? Knowing that you're coming in, despite having 4 race wins, you're tied with Proudfoot in the race win column. You come in as the undecidedly big underdog in that fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work to do on the I guess intermediate ovals, but the ovals that require braking and stuff like that. But it's obviously to have just 3 weeks essentially of practice. It's going to be really useful, and hopefully I'm going to make the most of it and manage to come out strong in Auto Club. I feel like the first race of the season, still kind of a top 10 car as far as I remember, barely made it in on in the 57. The fifth, I feel like I think it was like the fifth car in qualifying, and the fifth uncharted car. Still could have done okay then, just got wrecked out, but hopefully gonna build from that. It was nice to have the experience of the first race, first Auto Club race there. But yeah, just gonna have to put in the work, and because it's gonna be a pretty big fight in the championship 4 at the end. So I just want to be on pace. I'm not really. I don't necessarily care. I obviously want to win the championship, but the fact that I'm here, first full proper season in a stock car, and the fact that I'm making the championship 4 is, I'm not going to say it's enough for me, but it's definitely more than I expected coming into this season.
It shows a lot of talent here in the Stepping Stone Motorsports camp. Bianca, you're in the championship 4. You get to go through Kentucky and Bristol coming up here. Sort of just get to watch and see who joins you in that fight come Fontaine at the end of the month. Before we let you go, though, and let you get ready for those races coming up ahead for you, if there's anyone to shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the effort on your 4th win of the season.
Well, once again, my mom, obviously, for letting me race this time of day. But I just also want to thank my Stepping Stone Motorsports for being just an amazing team that I'm so lucky to be a part of. I've said this in the Screen to Speed event. I know James is listening right now. Thank you for everything. I'm so happy to get to represent this team.
You did a fantastic job tonight, Bia Constantinou, in the championship 4. It's a matter of who joins her now across the next 2 races. Bia, enjoy it, and we'll be keeping an eye on that 61 crew across the rest of the season.
We'll be doing our best.
That was Bia Constantinou, race winner here tonight. And it's a matter of now who joins Constantinou in the championship 4. Here's the top 10 as they run. And it is undecidedly Bia Constantinou at top of the board. Brandon Proudfoot, Caitlin Height, we heard all 3 of our podium finishers here tonight as they finished. Lilac Zero in 4th, Shad Swatsworth in the top 5, a good result for him. Eli Sasek in 6th. And it's a tight battle in the playoff hunt. 3 spots remain. Proudfoot, Zier, Swatsworth, and Sasek, all in that range. They had the best night so far. They had the best footing going into Kentucky next week. Callie Height, 7th place, a good result for Callie Height there here at Watkins Glen. We get to see her again on Wednesday in the ABN Champ Car World Series event. Pacey Wygant, Selena Thompson, and Byron Jones round out the top 10 here tonight as we walk ourselves through this race. 11th place, Bobby Blowers, is where everything continues on. DJ Trout in 12th. Elias Flores, Blake Henderson in the top 20. Same with Josh Arnold, who finished a lap down tonight. Josh Gaiman, 3 laps down. His race went bad to worse in a hurry. Was involved in just about every incident you could count. Same with Josh Susie. Ended up 7th laps down, but finished this race and grabbed some very crucial points in 17th. Was down in 22nd at one point. So Susie never really gave up on that fight and kept going there. Zach Meredith in 18th place. Zach Apperson in 19th. Matthew Boone rounds out the top 20 here tonight. And looking a little bit further down the order, only 5 cars left in this one. It's Ryan Moutre, Hunter Whitlock, Gary Donaldson, Yair Rodriguez, and Caleb Eichler rounding out the field. That is the run through the finish. 25 cars tonight, expecting even more tomorrow and especially on Wednesday. The ABN Champ Car World Series rolls through New York tomorrow night, right here in ABN 1, 8:15 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live here on ABN 1. On behalf of everyone here for HTL, for the HTL Cup Series, everyone here for ABN Studios and ABN Esports 1, we appreciate you spending your time with us here on ABN. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, have some fun in the week up ahead. We'll see you next week. Well, we'll see you tomorrow here at Watkins Glen. We'll see you throughout the week here between New York and Kentucky. But on behalf of everyone for ABN Studios, so long, everybody. We'll see you next time.